Hello, beautiful people. This is Rebecca with More Than Mortgage, and today I want to talk to you about the proper way to purchase a manufactured home. I saw a TikTok last night, and this guy was suggesting to do it a different way, and I was like, no, don't listen to him. Because for him, cutting corners and trying to do it to save a couple bucks is literally going to cost him dearly, and I'm going to tell you why. So first, let's talk about the correct ways to purchase a manufactured home. I'm in Texas. People do that a lot. They want a bunch of acres. People will go either buy a home, manufactured home, put it on there, live there, and build their house. Most of the loans that I do are FHA. FHA is overseen by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, and they're the ones that do have all the guidelines, the inspections, and everything. So that's the only loan I'm going to talk about. There are other loan types that can do this, but they usually say, yeah, we do it HUD, FHA says. So they have a little bit different loan guidelines, but I'm not going to get in that. So you want to purchase a home that has either been delivered and permanently affixed to the foundation. If you have land, you need to put the permanent foundation. HUD has the permanent foundation guidelines for manufacturing homes. So you obviously want to follow that, right? So you get the permanent foundation, and then you have the manufactured home delivered directly from either the manufacturer or the company that you bought it from, the dealer, and it's delivered and it's affixed, and they attach it to the sewer. It's so serious that they actually log the installer, and the appraiser has to put the name of the installer and the their engineer certification too. They want to know. I mean, it's so important. They have so many checks and balances to make sure that is the process, because if you do not do that, then you cannot get financing. If you move it a second a time, it jeopardizes the structural integrity of this, because manufactured homes are like load bearing on the outside walls, unlike a normal stick built house. So it can buckle. So why would anybody want to finance a jeopardized product? Why, as a consumer, would I want to buy something that's been moved and jeopardized, right? That'd be a terrible investment. So they're very, very strict. Actually, HUD inspects it before it leaves the factory. Then an engineer will come out and make sure it was installed and strapped down. They want to make sure, it's all up to HUD codes and safety measures and everything. So those are all super important. If you don't do this, you're going to have to end up taking a cash sell only on your property, and they're going to lowball you. They're going to know you can't get financing. They're going to say, oh, these depreciate more. So you're never going to get the most return on your asset. So why wouldn't you do that? If you're selling your property, you want to open it up to the masses. Anybody with a 3.5% down FHA or whatever, VA or conventional, you want to give them the option to buy your property. That's how you're going to get the most return. By not doing everything by the book, then you limit your options. I mean, I've had some people say, oh, I know somebody that does financing on moved manufactured home. I'm like, really? I have researched hard and long. People have sent me, I've talked to them, it never works out. Maybe 1% of the population can probably maybe find somebody to do it, which will probably be temporary, and they'll probably take it off, or it's probably a private lender, but the terms are going to be terrible. They're probably going to have to put 20, 25, 30% down. They're going to have a 10% interest rate. So terrible, terrible, terrible. So the one thing that you do not want to do is try to cut corners and say, oh, I've got the land, let me buy this, I'll do the foundation later. No, it's compromise. It's going to be a nightmare financing. It's just something you don't want to do. You want the most return on your value and your estimate and everything you've put back in it. So follow it by the book. Also too, there's certain things, like if you're shopping for a manufactured home, please get in contact with me and put your realtor in contact with me, because there's certain things before you put in an offer that you want to ask to make sure the seller has, right? The seller should not be putting a manufactured home on the market if they know it wasn't installed and affixed, if it was moved, because they shouldn't put financing, because it should be cash only. But it does happen, right? So if your realtor knows to ask the listing agent, hey, do you have the structural engineer? Does it have the HUD certificate? And all the other things that you need to do before you put an offer, Because if they don't know, when we ask for the structural engineer, and then the seller's like, well, I'm not paying for it. And the buyer's like, well, why should I pay for a report that costs over $1,000, mind you? So you need to know who's going to pay for it, right? If the buyer pays for it and it fails, then he's out that money. There's a lot you can be out. You can be out appraisals, inspections, the engineering, structural engineering. Also, I've had one time where one of the HUD plates was gone. You have to go pay to try to get that from that organization that keeps those records. So it's super important to, before you go into on contract and before you put in your offer and you negotiate, you know what is needed on purchasing a manufactured home. It's much different than a different type of a normal purchase, single family transaction. So get with me, Rebecca with More Than Mortgage. I can do loans in every state. Some states have different guidelines. So I usually do them here in Texas a lot. So I'm very familiar. I'd love to do them in any state for you. Call, Facebook, like, see ya later. Bye.